Hey everyone, just a quick message before the show starts. Spotify has now changed how they're doing things. You can actually rate the podcast now on Spotify. So if you like what you're hearing and you like what we're doing and you want to just continue to stroke our egos, please feel free to leave us a good review and rate us. It really means the world to us because we like what we do and we want to keep doing it for you. With that out of the way, let's get on to the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Into the 99 podcast, where we've got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I'm your necromancer with all the answers, Necro Zach, and I'm joined by my two lovely friends, Dan and Slothy. How are you boys doing today?
Doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. What about you, Dan?
Not doing too bad. Excited to talk spoilers today. For anyone who's seen the episode name, that's what we're doing. We've got Kamigawa Neon Destiny, so pretty excited. And yeah, hopefully the week was good for everyone listening. Hopefully the week was really good for Zach and Slothy as well. And let's just jump right into it. I'll let Zach take us away with the first spoilers.
All right, yeah. So we're starting off. If you're following us, you can go to where are we at here? We're at Skyfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. We're on Skyfall. So you can follow along with us. We're just sorting everything by rarity. So if you want to kind of listen as we talk about everything and see the card arts visually, there you go. First thing we're dealing with is the mythic rares, and we're at one of the first dragons. It's a cycle of the 5-color dragons. We have Owl the Dawn Sky. I hope I said that right. Probably didn't. Just a pre-warning, I'm going to butcher every single name in this set. Just, make fun of me if you want. That's fine. So Owl is 3 double white for a dragon spirit. It's a legendary creature, 5/4, flying vigilance, and when it dies, you can choose one. You look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Or you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on each permanent you control. Each permanent you control that's a creature or a vehicle. That's really cool. This is a new cycle that we're seeing. So we're getting 1 dragon of each color, and they all have die triggers, which instantly makes them my favorite type of creature in the set.
Yeah, Zach does like when things die.
Yes, I do.
The red one of the cycle is Atsushi the Blazing Sky. I just think it's funny with sushi in its name. Love it. It's 2 double red for a 4/4 dragon spirit. It has flying trample. When Atsushi the Blazing Sky dies, you exile the top 2 cards of your library until the next turn. You can play those cards, or you create 3 treasure tokens. I think that this one is actually much weaker than the white one.
Mm-hmm. Slothy, I want to take this next one. So we're going to jump down. I want to finish all the dragon cycle before we go back to the top.
Okay.
This is the dragon I'm most excited for. As you guys, I'm sure can guess, it's the black one. Junji the Midnight Sky, 3 double black, 5/5, legendary creature, dragon spirit, flying and menace. And when it dies, you choose one. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life, or put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose 2 life. I personally think this is the best dragon. You got reanimate, and you get cool, group slug type thing.
Well, and the other thing too is that it's more likely to die than a lot of the other ones, I think, because you can't just, if it's your commander or something, you can't just let it keep hitting you. And even if it's not, you're not going to take 5 flying to the face every time, right? So a flying menace, if you are able to block it, you're probably going to kill it at 5/5. And that's what you want. You want these to die, so.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice because we already have like a good idea of how to build around these kind of commanders because we already had a cycle of dragons to begin with. And I don't know if this is better than Kakusho, but it's at least on par. At the very least, it's on par.
Yeah. Do you want to take the blue one, Slothy?
Yeah. Sure. So the blue one is Kairi the Swirling Sky. It's a 6/6 for 4 and 2 blue with flying and ward 3. And when Kairi the Swirling Sky dies, you can choose one, return any number of target non-land permanents with a total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hand, or mill 6 cards, then return up to 2 instants and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand.
That's actually pretty solid, the instant sorcery return.
Yeah. And ward 3 is very cool.
Yeah, I actually really like the ward mechanic, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the green one is, where was it? It's Kura the Boundless Sky, a 4/4 for 3 double green, flying and death touch. When it dies, choose one, search your library for up to 3 lands, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle, something I definitely like. And then create an XX green spirit creature token where X the number of lands you control. So you can get a giant spirit, but I think most times you're probably going to use this to go fetch all your lands out.
Mm-hmm. There's a very good chance I put all these in Kodama Yamori because I actually feel like they're all very, very solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just kind of making me want to build like Tiamat more or Dragon more.
Yes.
I forgot about that card. Definitely forgot about that card, yeah. A lot of these would be good in the Dragon. The ability for, especially if you're building the last one, the green one, as its own commander, it's really easy. Green ramps. You can replay your commander very easy, especially if you're going to get 3 lands every time it dies. And the first one I'd be fetching is like something, I'll say Diamond Valley because I have Diamond Valley, but like if you don't have a Diamond Valley, I'm sure there's a lot of like other cards that let you sacrifice creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't, make a proxy of Diamond Valley and go fetch it anyways.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Because it's way too expensive.
Diamond Valley's silly, I think, right now.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's unreasonable. Proxy everything that's expensive.
Yeah, don't spend $1,000 on a card to play Commander.
So for those following at home, sorry, we're going to get back on track. We're jumping to the back up top, and we're at Blade of the Oni. It's 1 in a black for an artifact creature, equipment demon, 3/1 with menace. The equipped creature has base power and toughness 5/5, has menace, and is a black demon in addition to its other colors and types. And then it's our first instance of the new keyword or mechanic, however you want to say it. It's reconfigure. It's 2 double black. You attach target creature you control, you attach the target creature you control or unattach from a creature. Reconfigure only as a sorcery when it's while attached. It isn't a creature. God, I butchered all that. Basically, you can only do it as a sorcery. You can attach it to something, or you can detach it and becomes a creature.
Yeah, it's kind of like equip, but you equip a creature. Voltron stuff, you know?
Yeah. I really like reconfigure. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, this is very, very interesting. And as they started rolling out more and more of the spoilers, there's so many cool reconfigure things.
That's my phone notifications, which should be on silent. Whoops.
Yeah. Everyone's embarrassed, Dan.
Whoops. I think that's a really cool way to deal with equipments. They did that a little bit with enchantment creatures as well, too. I don't think for auras, but I just really like that they're bringing more types of things out. The artifact creature equipment is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The next one we have Explosive Singularity. I actually thought it was a neat one. As an additional cost to cast it, you can tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Costs 1 less for each creature tapped this way. Deals 10 damage to any target. I don't like that it's sorcery. It's if this was an instant, I think it would be a really good banger, but a 10 mana, 10 damage that I can tap down sorcery is kind of lackluster, in my opinion.
But you play it in Calamax.
Yeah, I guess. If you play it in Calamax, then you copy it, sure. I think Calamax is only instants.
Is it? I thought it was instant and sorceries.
I don't know. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he's instants.
If Lotus was here, we would know.
Yeah, rip Lotus.
Slothy's on the case.
Right,
while Slothy's trying to validate my existence, I'm going to take the next card. We have...
it isn't each turn.
Boo.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, wizards.
Oh, I did think that Zach would like this next one.
Yeah, I actually do. It's very cool. It's Hiragetsu consumes all. It's 1 black red for a saga, so it's an enchantment. The first, I don't know what are they called again? Lore. The first, whatever. You destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. Then your second one is exile all graveyards. I don't like that. And then the third is exile this saga, then return to the battlefield transformed under your control. So the flip side is Vessel of the All-Consuming. It's an enchantment, creature, ogre, shaman, 3/3. That's a lot. Trample, and whenever Vessel of All-Consuming deals damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever Vessel of All-Consuming deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, they lose the game.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I don't like the exile all graveyards. I would want to put this in Gen really badly. So that I really like bringing Sagas back with Jen. It's super fun as a deck, but losing your graveyard is rough. Look really
Yeah.
rough.
I wouldn't feel so bad if this was like exile target graveyard, I guess, but it's still really good. I would still play this honestly because it's so unique and it just whenever it deals damage, it doesn't say it has to be to an opponent or a creature. So
Yep,
pretty good.
The next one I think warrants like an actual discussion because I personally think that this card is going to get banned immediately on release. It's first off, it's Jinjitax's Progress Tyrant. I think it does too much, like way too much. And then on top of that, there's already a blue card in Magic. It's I can't remember the name of it. It's a Rayo or something like that. That literally does the same thing. It counters the first spell each opponent casts each turn, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Long story short, let's get into Jinjitax's. It's 5 double blue for Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery, you copy it. You can choose new targets for the copy, which is already a phenomenal ability. That would make this a very strong commander. But then it also has whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery, counter it. It triggers only once each turn.
Well, it is notable. Both abilities only trigger once each turn.
Mm-hmm. But you can flicker it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you can sakashima. You can clone it, copy it, all that good stuff.
Well, just the fact that you have to be able to... I don't really like having to bait out removal spells or something, right? Like, I don't want to... If I'm in, like, green-black or something, I don't want to have to play, like, a Cultivate... I should have drank more water before I started this. I don't want to have to play a Cultivate and then, like, a Doomblade or something to get rid of it, right? It's kind of harsh. And then the other thing is, they're blue, they can counter, and they'll still get, like, the second copy of the counter. I don't know, I think that it's too strong. I'm absolutely planning to build it, regardless, and rule 0 it, but, like, I think it's stronger in, like, a competitive meta. Like, this is, like, the dramatic reversal commander.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing is, from building Toxrill, like I said, I've got so many things to say on this, Jin. Building Toxrill, I really like to put in just like tons of mana rocks and stuff. And you're not really punished for doing that in this deck because, like, if you hit a late game Soul Ring, a lot of times it's not a very good draw. It's okay. Soul Ring's better the earlier in the game you get it. If you get a turn 5 Soul Ring, it's a little weaker. But with this, you're getting 1 mana for 4 mana, like that's instantly available. That's really strong, right? So you compound that with every artifact that you can have the ability to copy it, have so many of them. And this is a commander that you can really easily blow people out of the table with a lot of the X spells. The other thing is the Tezrits that turn all of your artifacts into creatures. You're going to be able to really easily protect them, have a lot of like bauble kind of useless-ish artifacts on the field that can just steamroll. I don't know. I think the Jin's very strong.
I don't know that it gets banned, but I do agree that it is much more powerful than I think face value would have you believe, because anytime you see like the clause that this ability triggers only once each turn, which we've been seeing more recently with a lot of like powerful cards, I always like downgrade how powerful it is, but like the more we talk about it and the more we see it in, you know, in a vacuum, it is much more powerful than like I was anticipating. I don't know. It's a Praetor too. That's another thing. So they've always been very powerful. So I would think it'd be silly to just
underpower it.
Yeah. I mean, spoilers with Tamio, you know, like.
Yeah. In fairness, I do think that it's not as good as the other Praetors overall. It's kind of like Kaldheim's Vorinclex versus normal Vorinclex, right? Normal Vorinclex is good in any deck that you can get him out. There's not a single deck that suffers from having double mana and slowing your team down, or your opponents down. The same is true for the normal Blue Jin. Everyone losing their hand at their end steps is crazy. You drawing 7 cards, you having flash, it's always good. But like the Kaldheim Vorinclex, it's a phenomenal card in a deck that's built for it, right? In a counters matter deck, but like you can't put it in any deck. This is kind of the same, right? You can't just stuff this in like a big cool creatures matter deck or a big CMC deck. You want a deck that is literally going to be built on instants, artifacts, and sorceries.
Which blue does.
Oh yeah, blue does, and blue does super well. But like, that's what I mean. It's, at least in that form, it is a lot harder to see as powerful as the other ones. I personally, like I said, we'll do an episode on Jin. I think it's really fun. There's so many good artifacts that just let you steamroll the table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it's still only one color. If you had any other color in this, it would be nuts.
Yes.
The Praetors, I don't think, are ever going to get second colors. Except maybe Elish Norn later on when all the other Praetors die. And then Elish Norn's like 5 colors.
Mm-hmm. That's possible.
Do you want to take this next one, Slothy?
Sure. So this next one is another double-faced saga. It's Jugen Defends the Temple. It's 2 and a green. The first phase, you can create a 1/1 green human monk creature token with tap it to add green. The second is put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And the third is exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. And transformed, it is Remnant of the Rising Star, which is an enchantment creature dragon spirit. With flying, it's a 2/2. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay X. When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on that creature. And as long as you control 5 or more modified creatures, Remnant of the Rising Star gets +5/+5 and has trample.
Yeah.
So
I think the modified thing is pretty good too. Anything that's an equipment or has counters on it is modified.
Yeah, that's another keyword that I was very interested in. I think it's going to lead to a lot of really cool deck building strategies.
Yeah.
Do you want to check out, or do you want to do Kato, Zach?
Sure. So we have Kato Shizuki, 1 blue-black for a legendary planeswalker, starts with 3 loyalty counters, and it has an innate ability that at the beginning of your end step, if Kato Shizuki enter the battlefield this turn, he phases out. Super cool. Smoke bombs. His +1, or their +1, I should say, draw a card, then discard a card unless you attack this turn. Neg 2 is create a 1/1 blue ninja creature token with this creature can't be blocked. And Neg 7, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a blue or black creature card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle.
All right.
This card's super sweet.
I don't really know how you get around it because it always phases.
Mm-hmm.
I guess does phasing re-enter or no? No, phasing doesn't enter, so at least you can kind of get to it. I don't know. It's looks very strong.
Yeah. And the alt art. Ooh, the alt art's sweet.
Yeah, there's pretty awesome alt arts in this set. We have a new Kodama as well. Kodama of the West Tree. 2 and a green, which I just like the art of it. I don't know why I like it so much, but it just, to me, looks like Yoda meditating between 2 branches. I don't know. I think it's funny looking. It's a 3/3 legendary spirit with reach. Modified creatures you control have trample, so really, really good in any counters deck. And whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land, put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So it's very, very good in anything that, it's Sithis, Tuvasa, any of those, Galea, all of those artifact enchantment decks are going to want to run something like this. Anything that's counters matter is going to want, because if I hit you with something that's like a 2/2 because it has a 1/1 counter on it, I get to go get a land. That's really, really strong.
So I've been talking to Benson a lot about this card, and he got rid of a lot of his fetch lands in his Togo Simic deck.
Yeah, Rux.
Yeah. So he put in basic lands to be able to put this guy in the deck, and I think it's already really a nutty deck. But
because he can just put the rocks on anything.
Yeah.
He can put the rocks on anything. He gets trample from the rocks being on something. So he makes an avalanche, and then he gets lands. That's funny.
Yeah, and then all the landfall triggers, and not to mention he has the one guy that's it's a blue and a red from Theros that I think if your creature is equipped with something, they get flying as well and something else. I think haste maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been talking about that a lot. It's very, very cool.
Slothy, you like the rat ninjas. You want to take this one?
Sure do. So this next one is Nashi Moonsage's Scion. It's a 1 and 2 black for a legendary creature, rat ninja. It's a 3/2. It's got ninjutsu for 3 and a black. Whenever Nashi Moonsage Scion deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library until the end of turn. You may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. I like this a lot.
Yeah, this card's super sweet.
This one I was actually surprised Zach didn't say he wanted to build, but I knew Slothy was going to because he always keeps talking about how he loves those rat decks, the Relentless Rats and everything.
So here's the thing, right? I do not want to build this as a commander, but there are multiple decks I want to put this into the 99 with. Like, I'm working on rebuilding my Timna Iker Shadiki life support deck.
Yep.
Where it's just constant life gain, life loss, life gain, life loss. This guy.
To be honest, I might... I haven't edited Belladross since I made Belladross, but this really is at home in Belladross. Like, I love Belladross so much. I think that may be one of my favorite decks I've ever built. That deck is so funny. But I just want to swing at people with the pest tokens and then be like, oh, you're not going to block? Interesting. Nashi. Yeah, I think I've got to put it in. The ability to cast everyone else's things with my life, too. It's so on theme.
So I wonder if this replaces Gonti.
Honestly, I kind of think so. Ninjutsu is also a funny mechanic. Like, I don't as much like it when it's a ninjutsu-based commander that's just constantly being like, you take 15.
Oh, wait, can we still ninjutsu from Command Zone? Or does it have to be specified?
Yeah, you still can, but you have to pay the commander tax, I think, on it. Because I think what's it called? I think the other one.
The other one, the
Commander
Ninjutsu. Yeah.
Let me read what Commander Ninjutsu says.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm taking this next card. So we have Spirit Sister's Call. It's 3, a white and a black green enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, choose target permanent card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with the chosen card. If you do, return the chosen card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it gains if this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. I really like this card
what?
Too. Yes.
It what? The beginning of your end step, choose a target permanent. That's awesome. So I can like sack like little 1/1 tokens to bring back like anything that's important.
Yeah, so you could sack a I don't know, like
a 1/1 cat soldier token to bring back Elish Norn.
That seems fair.
That's pretty good. And it's in colors where you can discard to the graveyard too. That's pretty strong in the flicker. At least if permanent would leave the battlefield, exile instead. So you can't bring your things back infinitely, but you can get like some really, really big cards out.
And it being 5 mana is like honestly really reasonable too. I don't think that's that bad because if you're playing a deck where you're basically setting up your graveyard to get to this card, that's fine. Like, I'm always thinking Abzan when I see white black. So, I'll Life from the Loam or I'll Entomb or something like that. And then suddenly it's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this stupid creature. And now here's an archetype of endurance.
This is a really cool card. I actually really like that. There's a lot of things because I'm looking and it doesn't specify like anything is off limits. So you can use like some of the War of the Spark planeswalkers to get like good planeswalkers back after you like blow like a Dread Horde ultimate or something.
Well, it's even in artifacts too. You take your treasure token and turn it into something ridiculous, like I don't know, a Darksteel Forge. Yeah,
I think that's a really cool card. I think that you'll see some interesting. If you choose target permanent, you may sacrifice. Yeah, I really, really like that. Like that's very, very good. I think I'm gonna put that in Shadrix because a lot of times I overdraw in my Shadrix deck and then I just throw things to the graveyard. But I've got like creatures that I can just sacrifice easily. That's a wicked card. Yeah, let's we'll get to the next one because I can talk about that card for a while. I really like that. The next one is pretty interesting. I have not read the story, but I think it's pretty cool that it has a Phyrexian version. I like the look of that. I don't want to sit there and try understand what that says during a game. So, but yeah, do you want to take this one, Zach?
Sure. So this is another one. Shout out to my best friend Benson because he's also super, super excited about this card. So that made me read it like 7 times to see why. So we have Tamio Completed Sage, 2 green hybrid Phyrexian blue-green and blue. So you get a legendary planeswalker Tamio with 5 loyalty counters. So she has a special, I'll say, ability. It's called Completed, and that's where you can The blue or green can be paid with a blue or green or 2 life, and if it was paid, and if life was paid to play this planeswalker, it comes in with fewer loyalty counters. Sorry, you can pay one. Or not pay one. God, you can take it up for 1, tap up to 1 target artifact or creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. You can remove X loyalty counters, exile target non-land permanent card with a mana value X from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card.
That's good.
And then it's -7. Create Tamio's Notebook, a legendary colorless artifact token with spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, and tap, draw a card. I butchered this, but let me tell you, this is insane.
Well, so
absolutely insane.
There's a new card that makes it so that there's no legendary rule, and there's also the no legendary rule card. So I already think I know where Benson's going. Does Benson want to make multiple notebooks?
Bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be real with you. I don't know. All I know is this card's sweet and it checks off a couple of the boxes I like. I don't even like planeswalkers like that, but this is so cool. And it's our first actual Phyrexian planeswalker.
Yeah.
We've not had a Phyrexian, like an actual Phyrexian planeswalker.
We've had some planeswalk.
Yes, but not this.
Yeah. Well, I think just the ability as well to -X and get like something important back from your graveyard is really good too. But that Tamio's Notebook, the static ability alone is really, really good. Mana reduction across all spells is
and you
strong.
can tap it to draw a card.
Is wicked, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I butchered it, but I want to reread its like static ability. It's like keyworded as completed. So if you pay the life instead of the blue or green, it enters with 2 fewer loyalty counters. But we now have a keyword for this completed. So we know we're going to Brothers War. We know that eventually we're going to deal with Phyrexia again. And we've seen Vornaclex, we've now seen Jinkataxis, and Tamio is now corrupted. And we've also seen, well, we're going to get there very soon, but we're going to see Tezra in this set as well. So this has to be coming back in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you'll see, like from like a lore standpoint as well, is the red Praetor escaping the plane somehow, if possible, and going to help. But it looks like in the story, again, have not read up on the story yet, but it looks like Tezret's responsible for getting those Phyrexians the ability to get through.
Yeah, because the planar bridge in his tummy.
Yep. But the next card is Tezret, and I think that he's got some pretty cool interactions. He's 2 double blue, 4/4 Planeswalker. First activated ability of an artifact you activate each turn costs 2 less to activate. I'm not very creative with that stuff, so I have no idea what I'd want to do with it. Like, I don't know what artifacts you super pay for. Abilities. I guess, like, you could do, like, a planar bridge, like you said. That actually would be pretty good.
Basalt Monolith, Grand Monolith.
Yeah, I guess those would be good. The, what's the Thran Temporal Gateway? The Quicksilver Amulet for Historics. That could be pretty good too. Its +1 is draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact. It's alright, I think. -2 target artifact becomes an artifact creature. If it isn't a vehicle, it has base power and toughness 4/4. That is hilarious. Because most people are like looking at it as like, oh yeah, you can do it. But I'm looking at it as I want a board wipe and you don't get your Soul Ring anymore. Like, I think that's funny. And then you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, draw a card. And now that is phenomenal.
This makes me want to rebuild my Cedrus Galvanic Genius deck.
Yeah. Well, because like you said as well, first and foremost, treasures are tap and sacrifice. So every time you use your treasures, you would get to draw a card, which is awesome. Then on top of that, like that's really, really good. Every time you tap your mana rocks, you draw a card on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like its multiple versions, by the way. Yeah.
Give me 1 billion versions of the same card and watch me not complain.
Do you want to take this next one, Slothy?
Sure. So the next one is the Commie War. It's another saga for 1 and Wooburg. First phase is exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls. Second is return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Then each opponent discards a card. And the third one is exile this saga that returns a battlefield transformed under your control. And the transformed form is Okagachi Made Manifest. It's a 6/6 enchantment creature, Dragon Spirit. Okagachi Made Manifest is all colors. It's got flying and trample. whenever Okagachi attacks, defending player chooses a non-land card in your graveyard, return that card to your hand, and Okagachi gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the mana value of that card.
I think it's so sweet that we get a callback to a creature that hasn't been in a standard set yet, because we had Okagachi in the Dragon deck. It was one of the other options as commander.
Yeah.
This card's sick.
Yeah.
I don't like building 5-color decks at all, but
Ooh.
I would rule zero this, like, hey, this is my commander, because it's so sweet.
I wouldn't mind this as a commander. I kind of agree.
It's just super flavorful, and it's a very unique like card for sure. I like the like unintentional kind of recursion type thing that you see with getting to return a card.
The next one I really, really love the artwork on every version of it. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Wandering Emperor. So the Wanderer is the emperor of New Kamigawa, as far as I know. Again, I have not read the story. Me and John are behind on the lore. But the Wandering Emperor is 2 double white, and I think this card's just great. So it's a Planeswalker at 3. It says Legendary Planeswalker, so there's no name for the Wandering Emperor yet. It has Flash. As long as it entered the battlefield this turn, you can activate her loyalty abilities anytime you could cast an instant, which is awesome. That is a very, very strong ability to flash. Even your Planeswalker having Flash so you don't have to hold the mana up and get it out at the end step is awesome, but being able to use it as a answer is wicked. So, +1, put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains first strike till end of turn. That's great. -1, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. Also great, because you can now protect yourself from somebody's gone to attack you, and you don't want to be hit by someone's huge, like, they've got a big commander, Voltron kind of commander. They're trying to hit you, they think you're open, you flash it, and you get that. But it's -2 is just what really like makes it shine. Exile target tapped creature, you gain 2 life. So it had both of its minus can protect itself. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll swing you with Blightsteel, will you? No. 4 mana, be gone. And then it's still around for the next turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the normal version of the card, I think, is just phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is like, I love all the alternate arts we got for this set already. They're all phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and move to the next card, because it's also very sweet. We have Biting Palm Ninja. It's 2 and a black for a 3/3 human ninja. It has ninjutsu for 2 and a black. And if it enters the battlefield, it enters the battlefield with a menace counter on it. And when Biting Palm Ninja deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a menace counter from it. When you do, that player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it and exile it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, just being able to say, give me your answer, or give me that card you tutored for, or just being able to get something anyway, and it's an exile, and you're already doing probably what your deck wants to do. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
We've got a cycle of lands that have a channel ability, new legendary lands. So the green one is Boseiju, Who Endures. It enters, adds a green on a tap. I wish that they would have given them like the land type so they're more easily fetchable, but that's okay. Its channel is 1 and a green, discard Boseiju, Who Endures, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. That player searches their library for a land with a basic land type, puts it on the battlefield and shuffle, and it's 1 less for each legendary creature you control. So you can kind of slot a little bit of your removal into a land space that way, which I don't think is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think the channel ability is really insane. At first, I didn't really get, like, I was like, oh, these are okay. But as I read them more and more, and once again started like getting people kind of explaining to me some of the stuff you can do, I'm really on board with the cycle of channel lands, especially in like Commander. It's nice because, like you said, Dan, like we have more utility in lands, and having more utility in lands is always a good thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough. In a format where you can, play multiples of these, I see them being obviously much stronger, but we also have the ability to recur these lands much easier than other formats. So, give and take.
The next card's very expensive.
Yes. It's Brilliant Restoration. It's 3 quadruple white, because I'm not going to say white that many times.
Yeah.
It's a sorcery. You return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Personally, I think that's too expensive.
Well, I mean, if you're playing, is it? The white-green enchantment.
Sithis, yeah.
Yeah, Sithis. This is probably fine. You probably play this card easily because you're in green. Granted, the quadruple white is the problem, but, you can take care of that fairly easy with all the duels and what have you.
Yeah, I don't think it's unplayable. I just think it's extremely expensive replenished.
It's super expensive, for sure. But, it's got cool art.
Yeah, return all artifacts and enchantments. At least you could Golos it out. No. Anyways, yeah, I'll cry about that later. The next one is another one of the artifact equipment creatures. It's Cloudsteel Kirin. 2 and a white for a flying 3/2. Equipped creature is flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. It's pretty good. Then it has Reconfigure 5, and you can put it on something for 5.
Yeah, this card's also very sweet. I think it might be the best reconfigure, honestly. I mean, of course, they would print something very strong and then make the reconfigure, kind of crappy.
Well, but you put this in something like Sir Gwen, anything with, Arden in it, Wyleth, any of those things that let you attach things.
Fair. Yeah. But, I think it's sweet. I'm more excited about the next card. It's Eater of Virtue. It's a 1-cost legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature dies, exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as a card exiled with Eater of Virtue has flying, equipped creature has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. And it equips for 1. This card does a lot.
That's good in the Ikoria Commander. The keyword soup one, I can't remember its name.
Riami?
No, it's one of the face cards.
Oh no, you're talking about it's the Abzan one.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The one that cares about the keyword soup stuff, where it's got X, Y, and Z. If it has all of those, I think that'd be really good in this deck.
I'm so upset I cannot remember the name right now.
Because this way you would continuously get those things back once it dies.
Yes.
It's
very sweet. Once again, the exile always bums me out, but I'm picturing playing this in an Abzan deck. It's Cathrall. That's what it is. Cathrall. I'm picturing playing this in an Abzan deck, so I'm looking at stuff like Pull from Eternity, and then, or not Pull from Eternity. Is it Pull from Eternity? Yeah, Pull from Eternity and Rift Sweeper. So I'll get some cards back.
Yeah. Do you want to take this next one, Slothy?
Sure. So this next one is Iganjo, Seed of the Empire. It's another one of the legendary lands with channel. This is the white one. So it can tap for a white, or you can pay 2 and a white to discard Iganjo, Seed of the Empire. It deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. I don't like this one as much as Besage do.
Yeah.
It feels too Boros-y to me.
Yeah. Definitely.
The next one I'm very, very excited to get my hands on, because I recently built the Marisi deck, the Goat Everything, and it's so fun. And this card is just right at home with it. It's Iganjo Uprising, X and 1 red, 1 white. Create X 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. So you can still swing in with these because it's next ability. Each opponent creates X, X -1, 2/2 white samurais with vigilance. So they don't get the menace, they don't get the haste. But my general thing is that I'm going to play this after combat. So after I've already goated the table, I just play Iganjo Uprising, and then everyone has to swing out with all these samurais.
Mm-hmm.
I love goating the table. It's so fun.
It is. It's a very good time.
Mm-hmm.
Goad's one of my favorite mechanics. And the artwork is awesome. And I know Zach doesn't like Boros that much, but the artwork's killer.
Yes, no, that artwork is sick. It's just, it's red and white together, and that's a problem for me. Next card is another saga. It's Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It's 2 and a red. And the first lore counter will get you a 2/2 red Goblin Shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, you create a treasure token. The second one will get you you may discard 2 cards. If you do, draw that many cards. And the final chapter says exile the saga, return to the battlefield under battlefield transfer under your control. and it becomes Reflection of Kiki Jiki. It's an enchantment creature, Goblin Shaman, to 2/2. You can pay 1 and tap it. Create a token that's a copy of another target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step.
This is really, really cool in the End of Turns deck, Obika.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just a really cool card in general. It's very fun.
And it's a rare, which makes life a little bit easier, right?
Mm-hmm. It's very easy to get out and actually play. It has utility, in my opinion, the whole way through, right? Whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token is an awesome goblin to make in any goblin deck. The ability to clone things at the end step. There's a lot of great goblins when they ETB, or, like you can clone, what's that, Mirror Battlesphere? Clone and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter if it sacrifices at the end step. Clone a Solemn Simulacrum and, just continue value off it for 1 mana. Like, it's really good. But then also just the ability to, if you don't have the greatest hand early, the may discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many is also really, really strong.
Yeah, it's a very good saga. Like I said, I'm so surprised it's a rare because I think it's very powerful, but I'm not going to complain. It's just going to be easier to open.
The next one I just scrolled down to may be the strongest card in the set. I straight out think it's Farewell 4 double white. So the number of decks that it can go into is, think how many decks play Merciless Eviction already. And that has white and black. Now we have Farewell. Here we go. Choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and graveyards. You can just exile whatever, exile the world. It's really, really good. You can hose Zach with it. You can hose any creature player deck with it. You can wreck Brian's day by losing all artifacts, all enchantments. Like, it is really, really strong. And if it at 6 mana did all of these things, I think it would still be playable. Like, it would still be let's reset the board. I think it would be good. But the ability to decide, I'm gonna get rid of all creatures, artifacts stay. I'm gonna get rid of all enchantments, creatures stay. Like, the utility on the card is great. 6 mana for such a massive board wipe is not unreasonable.
So I think the way to look at it, it's not 6 mana for a massive board wipe. It's a 6 mana for a modular board wipe. Yeah. That's how that's what it is, and that's insane. Like, it's still echoing what you're saying, but like, it's modular. Like, it is very powerful. Once again, kind of surprised it's a rare. I'm not going to complain, but it's just so powerful. Even at 6, like, whatever.
Well, I think that it is gonna see a lot of play in a lot of decks.
Mm-hmm.
He's a board wipe commander. I built it, and it's just full of board wipes. And I always, the whole time, the whole time I just pretend that I'm not getting any cards. I'm like, oh, I can't play anything. But it's all planeswalkers and board wipes, so this like fits right in with it because this is hilarious.
And you said we were scumbags last week.
Yeah, Nev is not a fun deck. No one's ever been like, hey, that was such a fun game. I really enjoyed playing against it. It was a really exciting thing because, like I said, my politics is I'm like, I don't have the mana. I can't do anything. Pass. And then I hit like 6 mana or 4 mana and start Wrath of Godding the board and Damnationing the board every turn, and I'm a bad person.
Well, I'm going to take this next one because I feel like Slothy's going to want the one after that. So we have Goro, Disciple of Ryusei. It's 1 and a red for a legendary creature, Goblin Samurai. It's a 2/2. You can pay 1 red, and creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. You can pay 3 double red, and you create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. This is really cool. And I love the fact that it's a cheap legendary creature too. I don't build a lot of red decks, but I actually really like this one.
Goblin Samurai is an awesome creature type as well.
Right? That art is phenomenal.
The first alternate, so cool. the normal card is pretty awesome looking, but the alternate art is something else.
Yeah, they've done such a good job with art in this set. Like, every set is always like, they've gotten so much better and better, but this set has just been, I think, insane. They've done so many cool things I wasn't expecting with the art.
Mm-hmm.
The next one's so funny. Yeah, take it away.
The next one is a Greasefang Okiba Boss. It's a legendary creature, Rat Pilot. It's a 4/3 for 1 white and black. At the beginning of combat on your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Return to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step.
Bro, I didn't realize it's the rat's riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's
I
biking
didn't
bicycle
realize that's what
Mars.
that was.
Yeah.
That's insane.
This is probably my favorite alternate art in the set that I've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure.
There's do you want to
so
take
much.
the 40 versions of the next card, by the way? Oh, sorry, go back to this one. You said this is your favorite card in the set so far?
My favorite art, like my favorite alternate art.
Okay, I thought you said your favorite card. I was like, I didn't know you were so passionate about vehicles.
I hadn't looked at really any of the cards before today.
Okay.
A couple, but I like that art a lot.
So we have Hiragetsu, Devouring Chaos, 3 black for a legendary creature, Ogre Demon 4/4. You can pay a black and sack a creature, scry 2. Or you can pay 2 and a red, tap, exile a top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hiragetsu, Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. And then we got the cool 5-color variants, basically. So it's the same art, but they've highlighted it with the different colors of Magic. So we have a black, a red, a green, a blue, and instead of white, we have a yellow, which I mean is supposed to represent white.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's really good in Prosper.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people were complaining about this card specifically because we got essentially 6 different variants, because we have the normal one, the neon color ones, and then a full art. But I mean, they could have honestly done that with all the cards in the set, and I probably still would have been hyped on it.
Yeah, I like different versions. The next card is, I was extremely excited for 2 cards in the set. There's lots of good ones. This one I was so excited for that I immediately stopped what I was doing and made a deck. So it took me, I would say, 17 minutes to make a full deck out of this. The list is already pulled and ready to go, and I'm just waiting, and on release day I am opening boxes until I get this and one other card in the set. So it's Hinata Dawncrowned. I think this card's amazing. 1 and then a blue, a red, and a white for a legendary creature, Kieran Spirit. Flying Trample 4/4. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast for each target. This card is awesome. Every part about this card is just amazing. Like, you can Comet Storm the board for free. Whatever you put into Comet Storm, you're not paying for extra targets. I'll Comet Storm everything for 5. The fact that I can Reality Spasm and untap target permanents. I just untap them all for free. There's a new one in here that phases creatures out, phase out X creature cards. Curse of the Swine. X target creatures become everything. Anything X spells basically just becomes like, hey, this is awesome. It turns your counter spells your cancels into counter spells. I love this card.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the wrong colors for me. I'm sorry, bud.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just such a good card. I like all the versions. The full art is cool. The one with the flavor text is Hope Races on Sunlit Hooves. Absolutely love the flavor text. And then the alternate like cartoony kind of art, I think. I don't know what you would call it. Looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But like
that art is very good.
Yeah, this a deck like this just made me like very, very excited. Like even just your ability to return to dust things for 2 mana is just I'm very, very excited. And it's funny to make things cost more mana for other people. So if you think Grand Arbiter really slows a game down, this only does it for things that are targeted, but it's going to make it a lot harder to remove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I really like this card. I'll be doing a deck tech on it for sure. Like I said, it's already been built. I sat right on down and started brewing with this one. You Heliod's Intervention for free. Not for free, but for like a white or 2 white. It's so funny.
Yeah, typically this is the spells you're going to cast off this are just going to cost like a single color or maybe 3 colors at the most.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to really be able to really hit the table. It's also really good for, I think it's Strive, where it's like any of the Strive spells that are like, oh, this costs 1 more. Another thing is that this also makes a very good enchantment commander.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. That is very cool.
Yeah,
because still in the wrong colors for me, but
yeah, but like if you're doing like enchantments and things like Aura and Aura's deck, like
I guess I would like this for clones quite a bit.
Yeah,
like being able to clone things at a reduced rate seems very cool.
Hinata's I just love that card. There's the other card that I'm excited for is technically not in the set. It's in the buy a box promos. We'll get to it. We'll get to it at the end. Do you want to take the next one, Zach?
So we have Invert. Oh no, I'm not taking this up. I can't say that.
Inventive iteration.
Sorry, my dyslexia kicked my ass on that one. So it's 3 and a blue, and return up to 1 target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. So that's the first lore counter. The second lore counter, return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand if you don't draw a card. And the final lore counter is you exile this saga and return it to the battlefield, transform under your control. So the flip side is Living Breakthrough. It's a 3/3 enchantment creature, Moonfolk. That's flying, and whenever you cast a spell, your opponents can't cast spells with the same mana value as that spell until your next turn. Oof.
Yeah, this is going in my Kenrith's Get My Turns deck.
That's awful. I don't like it.
I think it's hilarious.
Of course you think it's hilarious.
I love every part of this card, and like I said, the Kenrith, I don't think you've seen that deck yet, Slothy. I have a deck that, like, the whole point of it is just to skip my turn basically infinitely. And all the effects are until my next turn effects. So I'll just hose someone's commander out of the game with this.
Yeah, it's very obnoxious.
I love that deck. Do you want to take the next one here?
Sure. So the next one is Invoke Calamity. It's 1 and quadruple red for an instant. You may cast up to 2 target instants and or sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana cost. If those spells will be put into your graveyard, exile them instead, and then exile Invoke Calamity.
Bro, there are swords. There are swords exploding out of a volcano. Those are fiery volcano swords in this art.
I think this is a really good card.
I mean, it's going to do very silly things. Like, what was it? Like fire. This reminds me of Fires of Invention.
Yep.
And we saw how quickly that got X'd.
The ability to, first off, this being an instant is awesome because it gives you the utility to, like, in any kind of an instant deck, gives you the utility to get something that's, like, really, really good out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from your graveyard, like you can get your Narset's Reversal back out, for instance. But if you have anything that's going to copy it, like in a Veyran deck, Veyran is, generally speaking, all about, like, doubling up your copies of things. So you're basically going like 5 mana for 12 mana deep now, right? And the fact that it hits your graveyard and your it hits your graveyard and also your hand is awesome. There's a bunch of spells that really matter if they were cast from your graveyard as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's really good in like a Savine deck. It's really good. The four red kind of make it a little harder. But like even just like tossing this in like a deck that has like a Windgrace deck, so for 5 mana I can like double up and get like a bunch of my like I can double Harrow again or something.
Right. So that's the thing for these Invoke cycles though, because it's another set of 5 cycles. It's all 1 and 4 solid colors, but they're all worth it. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, they're all so powerful. Like the 4 colored mana of 1 color is well worth it for these cards. Like the next one I'm going to take because I'm super excited about it. It's Invoked Spare. It's 1 quadruple black. It's a sorcery, and target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Then repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker.
That's really good.
Some decks just don't play planeswalkers. Like, I typically try not to play planeswalkers because they annoy me. And this is just a card that's going to, gain me a lot of value in a lot of different situations, but it's just super, super powerful. And once again, there are a couple different versions of the card art and they're all phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this card. Invoke Justice is the next one in the cycle. It's 1 quadruple white sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures and/or vehicles target player controls. It's still just super powerful. Like because our typical rate for reanimation in white or resurrection in white is going to be 4 mana to begin with. So already being able to return target permanent is insane, but then to put 4 +1/+1 counters any way you want between creatures and vehicles a player controls can be very good, because like you could easily political with this card, right? you could be like, hey, I want to return this. If I do, I'll put counters on your stuff. Will you take care of this thing that I can't handle? Or will you do something about this? So it's another very powerful card.
Yeah. For once, the green one sucks.
Yes.
It's the only way to put it. And good. Not every green card needs to be amazing. Well, maybe you like it, but I don't. Invoke the Ancients. It's 1 quad green. Create 2 4/5 green spirit tokens for each of them. Put your choice of vigilance, reach, or trample on it. That's all right. The artwork's really cool.
Yeah. I do like keyword counters, so that makes me happy. But meh. This will probably be the easiest one of the cycle to play.
The next one, Invoke the Winds. 1 quadra blue. Gain control of target artifact or creature. Untap it. That's not bad.
I like that one. I'm taking this next card because I've been super, super pumped about it. This is one of the 2 legendary creatures from the set that I really want to build. I'll probably butcher its name, but don't at me. It's what? Eshin, 2 Heavens is 1. It's Mardu, so it's a red, a white, and a black. It's a legendary creature, human samurai. It's a 3/4, and it says if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insane. So, like, we were talking about it before we started recording, but this is going to be nuts with any of the exalted creatures or battle cry or like any, I don't know, like what's the demon that you care about that cares about attacking?
It's one of the Archons or something.
Well, there's Archons too. The Archons are very powerful, but this one pairs with Alesha, who smiles at death. I can't remember its name, but
the one where if you would deal damage.
Cruelties. Yeah. So any card like that, this deck is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. It's going to be very aggressive, as Mardu tends to be, but I think it's going to be really interesting. I typically I'm not super aggressive. I'm typically just doing these weird graveyard loops. So this is going to be like a fun, fast-paced deck for me to kind of put together. So I'm super pumped about that. And the alt art, I think, is one of the best alt arts like cards in this set. Like, it looks so cool.
Mm-hmm. I like it. The like you said, when you said that it was similar to Wolfgar, I was like, okay, well, this is really good. And it also gives a home to like the general samurais. Like Bushido's a really strong ability.
Yes, it is. So you can go a single attacking creature to get Bushido stuff. That'll pair really, really nicely with Exalted. But also, there's just a lot of really just good creatures that have on attack abilities in these colors.
Yeah, well, like we were saying, like Adeline, like the I can't think of the name now. Hero Bladehold.
Yep.
Like Oxid Ridge. There's I never call it the right name. Hero of Cathold, the one where you attack and you make cats instead of, yeah. I always call it that. Yeah. They look at me like I'm an idiot at the store.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool things, and I feel like this is going to be a deck that you could budget build and it'd be like very scary.
Yeah. Well, even just the ability to what's the sword? I can't think of any card names today. The sword that on attack you get to go get your lands.
Sword of Anist,
yes. Yeah, like that's also like really, really good in this.
Yeah. There's a lot of like incidental value cards that you can get so that like your early plays are so much more impactful than what you typically will see in like a Mardu deck, because like you're not playing green, so you have to kind of mana ramp differently. So yeah, I'm just so excited about this card. I could continue talking about it and continue like spitballing ideas that I have, but
well, and because you're only swinging with one thing, right? Like you're going to be able to really easily focus on like a Rogue's Passage unblockable strategy.
It says if a creature attacking cause.
Not even a single creature. Oh, I thought it was if a creature attacks alone.
No,
well,
sir.
This changes the card entirely. Welcome to the conversation.
Your Titans, your Archons. Yeah, like I have it. This is spoiler alert. I am brewing this deck. This is going to be
Ishin, two heavens of Eldrazi. Double your Annihilator triggers.
I'm not doing that because I'm on a POS, Dan.
Everyone knows I'm going to build something. Like I'm going to go buy another Ulamog now. I thought this was okay. So first off, let me rewind. I wasn't listening. Apparently, I thought it's if a creature attacks alone would cause a triggered permanent. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, like you could still like build like a really cool thing. You'd want like Exalt. No, this is all attacking. This is just Wolfgar in the other colors.
Yeah, that's why I told you. That's why I thought you'd be like way more hyped about it.
Yeah, I just can't read, apparently. Apparently, I just don't have a long enough attention span to finish 3 lines of text, because that's a real game changer. I will also be building this now. I thought it was good when I thought it was a single creature attacking. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like you can really, this really opens up a lot of nonsense.
Yes, it does.
You can double Ragavan triggers.
All right, we will talk about this later. We got to move on because we're starting to get off topic.
Zach, you changed the game there. There's the third deck I'm building. Okay, so we have Commie of Transience. 1 and a green for a 2/2 spirit trample. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 1 on counter on it. That's great. At the beginning of each end step, if an enchantment is put into your graveyard this turn, you may return Commie of Transience from your graveyard to your hand. Also great, it has really cool looking artwork. Next card.
I have no clue what's going on there.
You want to take this one, Slothy?
Sure. This next one is Kotos, the Silent Spider. It's a 4/4 legendary creature, human ninja, for 3, a blue and a black. When Kotos' Silent Spider enters the battlefield, exile target card other than a basic land card from an opponent's graveyard. Search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles. For as long as you control Kotos, you may play one of the exiled cards, and you may spend mana as or mana of any color to cast it.
This is good. I wish that it worked better in our format, but not everything's for us.
Yeah, but it should be. Commander's the only format that matters.
I feel like there's
Oh, I started scrolling down. I got excited. I got riled up. There's another deck I'm building too. Zach, you take this next one.
No, you take it. I refuse 5 colors.
Okay. Well, I'm taking this and the next one. So the next one is Kyodai. Probably can pronounce that wrong. Soul of Kamigawa. 3 and a green for a 3/3 dragon spirit. With flash flying, when it enters the battlefield, another target permanent you control gain. Not even you control, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control it. Then it has Wooburg, gets 5/5 till end of turn. Pretty good.
Guys, that's 3 and a white, not 3 and a green.
3 and a white, everything's green. I'm too excited about the next card because it's hilarious. Yes. Oh, well, okay. 3 and a white.
Skip this. Whatever. Cool. 5 colors.
Whatever.
Card. Go on.
The next one is Light Paws, and I think this is awesome. Light Paws Emperor's Voice. It's a Fox Advisor, 2/2, and it's 1 and a white to cast.
There you go.
Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura with mana value less than or equal to that aura, with a different name than each aura you control, put it onto the battlefield attached to Light Paws, then shuffle. That's awesome. That's so strong.
Yeah, this is honestly probably the best aura commander. I'll be completely honest.
First off, you have to kill him. There's no way that you can leave Light Paws alive.
This almost feels like the same kind of power level as oh god, what's his name? God, we're doing so bad today with names, guys.
We're tired. We're tired. It's a late recording.
Zur. It makes me think of the same kind of power level as Zur, because you can just go get stupid auras to put on here and kill someone almost instantly.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to get to the point where you're getting more mana. You can play your Eldrazi Conscriptions or your Daybreak Cornets.
That's literally. I was just double checking the name of the card. Yes, you're gonna go and fetch Daybreak Coronet with whatever the first thing you cast is.
Even Celestial Mantle seems very silly in this deck.
Yeah. If you Sigarda's aid this and then I'll just attack, what are you gonna do? Nothing. It's a simple 2/2 Fox. Will you take the damage? Oh.
Legitimately, I think I would build this deck with no other creatures.
Oh, I have a Commander Isha deck. It's just it's got protection from creatures and flying built into it. I'm probably just gonna put Light Paws in and take that one out, because it's that's the whole point of Isha, is to get that out, and this just gets it out faster, and doubling your mana is really, really strong.
Yeah, I really think I would build this. I might actually build this too, and it'd just be only one creature, and it'd be Light Pulse.
Well, you're gonna fetch Flicker Form as fast as you can, and then just yeah.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, it's very good. Light Paws is awesome. All of the artwork of Light Paws is awesome. Looking at the second artwork of Light Paws might not be a boy.
Yeah, I think it might be a female, but don't know. I am going to start moving on to the next card because it's also very excuse me, very sick. It's a Lion Sash. It's 1 and a white for an enchantment creature, equipment cat. Equipment cat. That's so good. I love that. It's a 1/1. You can pay 1 white, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash, and it has reconfigure for 2.
That's
This
really
card
good.
is sick. Yeah, this card is very good. It's almost as good as the next card, which I mean, like Lion Sash is better, but the artwork for the next card is better, and that's Lizard Blades. Y'all,
I wasn't expecting that one at all. I don't know. I was not expecting that when I saw that other one. That's so funny.
Y'all, if you're not following along at home, that's fine. But go ahead, pause the podcast, go and look up the alt art for Lizard Blades. Have a laugh. Thank me later. But it's 1 in red for an enchantment creature equipment lizard. That's so much fun. It has double strike. Equipped creature has double strike. It has reconfigured 2, and it's a 1/1.
I love it. Love every part of it.
Yeah. All right, someone can take the next couple. I was just too excited to talk about Lizard Blades.
There's a lot of cycles in this. You want to start it up, Slothy?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one is March of Burgeoning Life. It costs X and a green for an instant. And as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile any number of green cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. And choose target creature with mana value less than X. Search your library for a creature card with the same name as that creature and put it onto the battlefield tapped and then shuffle.
Search your library for a creature card with the same name. So useless in Commander.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out if I could put this in Relentless Rats, and I can't.
You could put this in, like, I've got a Chulane Persistent Petitioner's deck that could, like, run it, but...
Well, I don't think you can, because you have to choose target creature with mana value less than X. Search your library for a creature card with... Oh, I guess I could put it in. So, yeah, I guess I could. I probably won't, though.
Next one's okay. March of Otherworldly Light, X and a white. As an additional cost to cast it, you can exile any number of white cards from your hand. Spell costs 2 less. They all do that. All the marches. You can exile a card that's the color for 2 less. So we can skip that. Then it's exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. I think that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the red art. I love these red arts. These are awesome.
The next one is March of Reckless Joy. It's X and red. It's an instant. You can do the same thing. 2 less for a card that's red. Exile top X cards of your library. You may put up to 2 of the chosen cards. Exile top X cards of your library. You may play up to 2 of those cards until the end of your next turn. I think this might be the best one, honestly.
That's pretty good. The next one is the best one, especially in Hanada. It's up to X target creature's phase out. So you phase the board out for 1 blue at instant speed.
Okay. Whatever.
Just bang. Hanada's such a cool card. I haven't read the black one yet.
So we have March of Wretched Sorrow, X and a black for an instant. March of Wretched Sorrow deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, you gain X life. We have to exile X, we got to exile black cards.
Let me read something quickly, because I think that this is a fun way to kill your friends. Yes, Painter's Servant.
Yeah.
So you Painter's Servant, and then you do any of the nonsense of, like, getting your deck in your hand, like a Peer into the Abyss, for instance. Then you pay 1 black, and spell costs 2 less. So for each black card, you get rid of 2. You can only get 1 player with it. Oh, target creature or planeswalker. Okay, so you can't.
Nope.
Yeah, so
you can't hit a player.
Well, I'll do it, and I'll throw the, what's it called, Goblin and Attack. Everything's available.
Rush Honor.
There you go.
Get a Mardu and you win.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get there. The next one I thought was really interesting. The Voltron card.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take Voltron, Zach?
I'm gonna probably read the next couple.
Sure,
so.
I'll take Mech Titan Core. It's 2 for a 2/4 vehicle. It has an ability for 5. Exile Mech Titan Core and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. Create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste that's all colors. When it leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core except Mech Titan Core to the battlefield, tapped under their owner's control.
This card's sick. It's very cool. It bothers me that the normal art isn't as good as the alt art, but whatever. It's sweet. I want to see the actual token for this card. So the next couple cards I'm going to talk about are right up my alley, and I absolutely love them. We have the first one is Mindlink Mech. It's 2 and a blue for a 4/3 vehicle, and it has flying. When Mindlink Mech becomes crewed for the first time each turn until the end of turn, Mindlink Mech becomes a copy of target non-legendary creature that's crewed in this turn, except it's a 4/3. It's a vehicle artifact in addition to its other type, and it has flying and it crews for 1. This card is sick. It's a very unique way to clone stuff, which you guys know, like I love to clone things. So I was very pumped about this card. This next card is my, I think, absolute favorite card in the set, and it's Mirror Box. It's 3 for an artifact. It says the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1, and each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature.
So first off, that's amazing in like a Relentless Rats, Shadowborn Apostles, Persistent Petitioners. I can't beat you with Mill, I'll just beat you to death with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's just, guys, I've been working and trying to figure out how exactly I want to go about breaking this card. And I think I've settled maybe on a Grixis build with this, but God, this card is just so sweet. It does so many cool things, and it doesn't help your opponents out, because that's how Mirror Gallery was. That's the, like, this is a newer version of Mirror Gallery. It's cheaper to cast, and it gives you so much more bang for your buck. I'm so excited to get like 1,000 of these cards and try to break it.
For me, I'm going to put it into the Inala, because there's so many good wizards that come in that you can get the extra triggers off of. This makes them stronger. This makes them like you can double up. I really, really like Inala. Inala is a fun card. And Mirror Gallery, like you said, really, really puts work in that deck.
Yeah. Like I said, I think where I'm at is a Grixis build for this is going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be Sakashima of 1,000 Faces partnered with someone. I'm just not sure who yet. Or there was also, I've been thinking of an Esper build as well with Sakashima and Ravos, because there's a lot of like really cool things you can do that way too.
That's fair. Are you going to take this next vehicle too? Because it's
yes. So I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm just going to call it Soul Ripper, because that's the part of the name I can actually pronounce correctly. It's one in a black for a 4/3 vehicle. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact or creature. If you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains menace until end of turn, and it crews for 2.
It's got really cool art.
Yeah, it has very cool art. And just the attack, sack another artifact or creature, and this gets bigger, is super, super cool. And the menace, like, this is just an annoying card to have to deal with. And it's neat too, because like I can go in my my new Mardu deck and protect my commander, and I can still swing.
Yeah. The next one's kind of interesting. The Ogre Head Helm. 1 in a red. It's a 2/2. Equipped creature gets 2/2. Whenever it or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you can sack it. If you do, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards.
Dan, you're doing this podcast a disservice because you did not read the creature type.
Oh, it is Equipment Ogre. Artifact Creature Equipment Ogre.
Thank you.
And then it has the Reconfigure 3. I do like the...
Oh, dude, it's the best part. It is the absolute best part. I like these cards a lot, and this is another thing where they do the cool thing where it's like the normal art's one thing and the alt art's something else. So the normal art's like this little crab helm, and then the alt art's a sick mech like attacking with 4 swords. So cool.
Do you want to take the next one, Slothy, the next land?
Absolutely. So the next one is the blue channel land. It's Otawara Soaring City. Can tap for a blue, and its channel is 3 in a blue. Discard Otawara. Return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand, and this ability costs 1 less to cast for each legendary creature you control.
That's sick.
Good utility on it.
Very good.
Yeah.
I wish you could. Go ahead.
The alternate art looks like was it a Star Destroyer?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I've already seen some alt arts people are working on with that. I really wish you could do the channel ability is either discard or sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think that's my only complaint, because this is very good early on, but not very good early on. Like, it's good early on because you get to be able to tap like instantly, which is nice. But also, like, I feel like late game, if you've had that setting on the field because you had to use it early game, it's kind of meh. But
like if you're saying if you could sacrifice them in addition to using it,
yeah,
that would be good. The next one functions the way that I thought the other one did. Ryu Storm's Edge, 2, 1 red, 1 white. First strike, Human Samurai. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase after this. Double combat's pretty good, and the Bushido mechanic is good, as I mentioned earlier.
Just, not as good as the Mardu one.
Not as good as the Mardu one at all.
Next, we have Reckoner Bankbuster. It's a 2-cost vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, it comes in with 3 charge counters on it. You can pay 2 and remove a charge count. Pay 2 and tap it. Remove a charge counter from it. You draw a card. Then, if there are no charge counters on Reckoner Bankbuster, create a treasure token and a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature. This creature accrues vehicles as though its power were 2 greater, and it accrues for 3. And it's a 4/4.
That's good.
Really cool. Yeah, I like the fact that it's like the vehicle basically gets destroyed and then the pilot gets ejected.
Oh, no, you still keep the vehicle. It doesn't sack it.
The pilot just gets ejected, basically.
Yeah.
You kind of see that in the alt art there, too, where the pilot's hanging on for dear life. I didn't realize that's what that was, but that's 100% what it is.
I love these rat pilots.
They're the best, dude.
I did really like the next one. I think the artwork's super cool, and I like Boros. It's Risoni Asari Commander. It has Commander in its name. Come on. 1 red, 1 white. It's a legendary human samurai. I wish it was a soldier. Human samurai soldier. Come on. I guess there's not really a lot more room for text, but 3/3 with haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, if it doesn't have an indestructible counter on it, put an indestructible counter on it. Whenever combat damage is dealt to you, remove an indestructible counter from it. This is pure aggression. I love this card.
Yeah. Yep. It's all right.
I don't know who wants to take the next one. It's probably one of the most hyped cards from the set that everyone wants to build.
Slothy's been doing ninjas.
Eldrazi Ninjutsu.
So the next one is Satoru Umezawa. It's a legendary creature, human ninja. For 1, a blue and a black, it's a 2/4. Whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. This ability triggers only once each turn, and each creature card in your hand has ninjutsu for 2 and blue and a black. Eldrazi ninjutsu.
One of the funniest memes I've seen is just Emrakul with the headband on it, like the Naruto headband on it. How do you do, fellow ninjas?
Look, I'm not going to downplay this card. It's very, very powerful. It's just like, I think you get to a point, right, where a card is so powerful, but it's just like you kind of know what's going to happen,
Yeah, I'm going to drop in the Predators and Eldrazi.
You're going to have people like Dan that are just going to do those things. And I'm not going to build this deck because I don't want to feel like I have to do those things. It's going to be one of those things where it's like you either have to build this like the most optimal way because otherwise you're going to get hated out of the table.
Well, yeah, you are right, because like you can't it's kind of like playing Urza. You can't sit down and be like, this is my fun, silly Urza list, guys. No, it's Urza. I don't care what you're doing. Right?
Right. Like I started working on an Urza Voltron deck where I was literally just equipping like very silly like bone splinters, axe, and just like really bad equipment to him because I thought it was like, oh, this is a fun way to build Urza. Didn't matter how many times I sat down at the table with that deck. Nah. Nope, I know what Urza does.
In a not even optimal way of building this deck, you can turn 3 hit me with like Emrakul.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't even have to have like there's no like insane like, all right, I'm gonna need a mana crypt in my opening hand followed by a basalt monolith and untap. No, you just like you play a Soul Ring on turn 1, Satoru on turn 2, Ulamog on turn 3. At 4 mana.
And like I said, I'm not downplaying this deck. I'm not downplaying this card. It's very, very cool. I think it's very sick. Like, it's an awesome card. All the art for this card is amazing. It just sucks that we got such a good card that it feels like there's only like one way you're going to see it built, and like Dan said, it's like pure aggression.
Yeah, my big problem is like, although to most people who see me build decks, it looks like my budget is endless. It is not, and there's not enough Eldrazi Titans. I simply can't go and buy every Eldrazi Titan every set. And if I'm going to go buy Titans for something in the set, it's going to be for that hilarious Mardu card that doubles triggers. right? Like I think it's strong, and if I pull one, which I probably will because I'm going to open boxes until I get another card that I want in the set, and I hope the drop rate on that card's good because yikes. But no, like it's fun. I might build it. It looks fun. Obviously, like you're going to have fun playing it, and that's half of the game. Doesn't matter if everyone else has fun as long as you do, right? No, but like I said, I might build it. Like it looks pretty fun. I actually don't think it like goes well with Yuriko. Like it's its own thing. But yeah, like playing it not like literally like the whole point of the deck is gonna be to just put out monster creatures for 4 mana.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can double up your ninjutsu triggers with like a Stronic Resonator or something.
I have no clue.
Yeah. If Lotus was here, we would know.
Someone want to take the next card?
Yeah, it's Satsuki, the Living Lore. 1 green, 1 white for a human druid. I actually really like this card. I forgot about this one. It's a 1/3 human druid. It taps, put a lore counter on each saga you control, activate only as a sorcery, which I think is fair. I usually don't like activate as a sorcery, but I think it's fair. When it dies, choose up to 1. Return target saga or enchantment you control to its owner's hand, or target saga from your graveyard to your hand. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. It's neat. I think it has some of the best art in the game too.
Yeah, there's the artwork that they commissioned for this set is just phenomenal. There's a lot of cards that, although I may not build them, I want to have them. They're beautiful. I would love an uncut sheet of the like the Japanese alternate art things. They're not actually in Japanese. They just are the like anime looking artworks. I would love. But this set has just beautiful artwork, top to bottom. I really, really like it.
Yeah. So moving on, I'm going to take this next card because I'm actually really excited. It got a reprint in a standard set. Whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. It's a Scrap Welder. It's 2 in a red for a 3/3 Goblin Artificer. You can tap it and sack an artifact with mana value X. Return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn. Yeah. Love it.
Pretty good.
I'm so glad. And it's got awesome art once again, and it's got cool alt art.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a really cool card. I think they tried to fix, Goblin Engineer? Yeah. But I still think it's good. I think it'll see a lot of play. There's been a lot of good love for Goblin decks lately. There's a lot of fun Goblins to play around. Slothy, you want this next one?
Sure. This next one is Shigeki, Jukai Visionary. It's a 1/3 legendary enchantment creature snake druid for 1 and a green. You can tap 1 and a green and tap it to return Shigeki to its owner's hand. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest into your graveyard. And it's also got channel for XX green. And discard Shigeki, return X, target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand.
That's actually a pretty good channel.
Yeah. Very strong.
Yeah. And seems to be a common theme with this one, but the art's beautiful.
Yep.
Yep.
I do really like the artwork on it. It almost looks like a weird praetor, but there's also like druids are cool. Tribe and snakes are a good tribe too.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I don't think anyone can complain about this set, it's the art. The art is just breathtaking.
It's some of the best art I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Next we have Shokuzen, Crucible of Defiance. It's a legendary land. You can tap for a red. You can channel for 3 and a red. So you discard it and create 2 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn, and it costs 1 less to cast for each legendary creature you control. Meh.
That's pretty good though for making some blockers, last minute blockers.
What's really cool is the next card, Soul Transfer. I think this card's sick. And once again, art, super, super cool. It's 1 double black for a sorcery. You can choose one. And if you control an artifact and an enchantment as you cast this spell, you may choose both. Exile to target creature or planeswalker, or return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This card is awesome. I always play Phyrexian Reclamation in every one of my black decks. And I always play a Soul Ring. So chances are I'm probably going to get to do both whenever I cast this.
The next one I thought was pretty interesting. The fact that they gave green an ninjutsu, I thought was neat. Springleaf Avenger, 3 double green. It has ninjutsu for 3 and 1 green. It's an insect ninja 6/5. When it deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. I like that. Yeah, you want to take the next one, Slothy?
Sure. The next one is Surge Hacker Mech. It's a artifact vehicle. It's 5/5 for 4 generic. It's got menace, and when Surge Hacker Mech enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to twice the number of vehicles you control the target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and it's got crew 4.
That's pretty good.
Man, if they would have worded that where any target, oof, this card would be so sick. I would love this to be an alternate like kill spell on a creature with menace.
This next one is out of this land cycle, the nicest looking. This is something that I want to own just for the artwork, and if there's a playmat of this one, I will hands down buy it for sure. Takanuma Abandoned Mire, it's the black version. Adds a black, and then it has channel, 3 and a black, discard it, mill 3 cards, and return a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. I think that that's really, really good, but first off, it's really good in a Muldrotha kind of deck because you're essentially drawing 3 in Muldrotha. But like I said, the artwork on this is just so nice. Like, I would love a print of this one, actually. Both versions are just beautiful.
This is I hope for a playmat because it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The next one I kind of want to build, but I don't know how I would build it just yet. The Tamishi Reality Architect, 2 and a blue. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents are returned to hand, draw a card. It triggers only once each turn, and then X and a white. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Return target artifact or enchantment with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Like, I think it's got built-in draw, and I like built-in draw. It's got recursion, and I know Zach likes recursion.
So I've been working on a list for an Azorius Reanimator deck, and I feel like this slots in there. I don't know that this takes over the spot for the commander, but I think this goes in there fairly well.
Yeah. I think it's just a cool card. And I liked all the Moonfolk stuff where you were returning lands. Like I liked that.
Yeah, it's a very cool mechanic. I'm taking this next one because this is the second card that I actually want to build a deck around. I'm probably going to butcher the name, but I'm going to try Tatsunori Toad Rider. It's 2 and a black for a 3/3 legendary creature, human ninja. And whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't control a creature named Kimmy, create a legendary 3/3 black and green for all creature token with whenever you cast an enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Then for 1 in hybrid green-blue, Tatsunori Toad Rider and target frog you control can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with flying or reach.
That's really cool.
I'm very, very hyped about this card. I don't have a bug deck right now, so I think this is going to be like my dedicated bug deck because there's a lot of cool things that I can do with those colors for this creature, and it's a unique aristocrat package.
I was going to say, yeah, you can really easily sacrifice your frog creature and continuously get it back.
Well, I was even just talking to like aristocrat style as far as like I'm going to play an enchantment creature. I'm going to play an enchantment in general. Like this does all the cool stuff I want to do with Animate Dead, Necromancy, Dance of the Dead, Diabolic Servitude, all that stuff. So,
generally speaking, with like a deck like this, like you have your Minsk and Booze, right? And that's whenever one enters, the other is created. But this doesn't have that holdback. So like I said, you can constantly like the first thing that comes to mind for me is Pattern of Rebirth. I can sit there and Pattern of Rebirth my creature because I know that I can just get it back the next I cast a creature, right? Or I cast an enchantment. So enchantment creatures are going to trigger this frog dying. Like you said, it's got the aristocrat package of them entering and dying. And when you double that up, if you fill it even just with enchantment creatures, like I was saying, and then have your blood artists or anything like that. Like it's like I think it's a really unique commander. An enchantment theme in those colors is very new.
And something else that I've also been playing with is because I love changing creature types. We have access to Arcane Adaptation, we have Masswind Nexus, we have Conspiracy, we have Xenograph, which everything but Masswind Nexus are enchantments, so you can make everything a frog. So they have good evasion. They can run stuff like Archetype of Imagination, which says your creatures gain flying, your opponent's creatures who have flying lose flying, and they can't gain flying. So that's an enchantment creature, which also synergizes with the deck. I've been already brewing this card because I'm very excited about it as well. Those are the two legendary creatures that like I'm building decks for sure, because I don't have a Mardu and I don't have a Bug, and both of these cards are just awesome and very unique.
I'm looking at it, and there's so many good. If you look at just black enchantments on their face, a lot of them are like things that are like greed, Phyrexian Arena, where you're losing life to gain card advantage, right? And in black, we say all the time, like, life is a resource. You want to actually put it to use, but this is bringing you that life back. This is very, very good.
Well, you guys, like I said, I always play Phyrexian Reclamation, which is an enchantment, and you can pay 2 life, return target creature card from grave to hand. So, like, if you're able to get into these loops where you're netting on life or you're netting on mana, you're going to be fine. You can get into these loops where you're maybe pinging the table for 5, 6, 7 damage a turn before you've even established, combat damage turn.
Yeah. I think that's a really good one. I actually hadn't seen that one until today, and that's one I'll also probably build.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this card as well.
And it's pretty cheap to get out.
Yeah, 3 is nothing.
Well, not only 3, you're getting. Well, I guess you have to cast the enchantment next, but you're essentially getting like 6 power off the 3 creature.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like it. We have another saga here, Teachings of the Kirin. When it enters, mill 3 cards, create a 1/1 spirit, colorless spirit, +2, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Then when it flips on its 3rd saga, when it attacks, choose 1, and I love attacks triggers. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. When you do, create a 1/1 colorless spirit. That's pretty strong. Or exile target non-creature card from a graveyard and put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Solid graveyard hate. Zach's favorite thing in the game.
Yep, but it is a creature, so it's easier to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Then another green saga. You want to take this one, Slothy?
Sure. Next one is the Dragon Commie Reborn. It's 3 and a green, and its first and second chapters. You gain 2 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down with a hatching counter on it, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And the 3rd chapter is exile it and then return to the battlefield transformed under your control. And it comes back as Dragon Commie's Egg, 0/1 enchantment creature egg. Whenever Dragon Commie's Egg or a dragon you control dies, you may cast a creature spell from among cards you own in exile with hatching counters on them without paying its mana cost.
That's good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can read the next one, Zach.
Sure. So we have the Reality Chip. It's 1 and a blue for a legendary artifact creature, equipment jellyfish. It's a 0/4. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. As long as the Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library, and it reconfigures for 2 and a blue. It's awesome. That's very, very cool.
That's a really good card because it's an artifact creature, so you can have that in the command zone, where you have just constant access to the top card of your library.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. And I like the alternate arts.
Yes, and it's 1 and a blue, so it's super cheap to get out.
Yeah. The next saga we have is the Restoration of Iganjo. 2 and a white. It's 1 is search your library for basic planes, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. That's solid. 2, you can discard a card when you do, put target permanent card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Also pretty good. And then it flips into Architect of Restoration. When it attacks or blocks, it creates a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. I think that's solid overall, all around.
Yeah. Oh, and it has vigilance.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually kind of relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have
that's cool.
We have Thousand Face Shadow. It's 1 blue for a 1/1 human ninja with ninjutsu 2 double blue. It has flying, and when it enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. The token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And that's such a cheap card to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and especially for so early, it having flying means it's going to be unblocked to ninjutsu something else out and get back into your hand.
Yeah, it's sick.
Next one's pretty interesting too. Thundering Raiju. 2 double red for a 3/3 spirit with haste. Whenever it attacks, put a 1 counter on target creature you control. Then it deals damage X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raiju.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very good. Once again, I'm looking at Benson for that card.
There's Grumgully. I run like a Grumgully list where it just like makes these little tokens and they come in with 1/1s on them. This is just a great finisher in that deck.
Yeah,
and
for 4 at that.
Yeah, and the same, like you said, with Benson and his many, many rocks, his many fine wares.
Next, we have an... Oh, sorry, you can take it, Slothy.
Sure. Next is Tribute to Hirobi. It's a 1 and a black, and it's a saga. And the first and second chapter, each opponent creates a 1/1 black rat rogue creature token, and exile and then return to the battlefield under your control. Transforms into Echo of Death's Wail. It's an enchantment creature spirit, 3/3 with flying and haste. And when Echo of Death's Wail enters the battlefield, gain control of all rat tokens. And whenever Echo of Death's Wail attacks, you may sacrifice another creature, and if you do, draw a card.
That's pretty cool.
I want to take the next one. Also, I do like the artwork on that. That's hilarious. The rats in the jars.
Mm-hmm.
Weaver of Harmony, 1 and a green for an enchantment creature snake druid. First off, great tribes all around. Snake druid enchantment, 2/2. Other enchantment creatures you control get 1/1. Awesome. But it has 1 and a green, 1 green and a tap. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an enchantment source. You may choose new targets. So that's really, really good in the sagas, but it's also really, really good in a lot of enchantments, like being able to double up triggers. Essentially like a Strionic resonator for enchantments is awesome.
The one that I'm most excited about, because I think it still works this way, is because I'm thinking about putting that already in my my bug deck that we were just talking about, is Doomwake Giant. The one that's 4 and a black. It's an enchantment creature giant, 4/6. It has Constellation. So whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment ETBs under your control, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 till end of turn.
Yep, that's good.
Because that's a triggered ability. So boop, just kill everything. That isn't mine.
Yeah, I think that you'll see some interesting combinations with this. Personally, I'm going to do it with the shrines, obviously, because I like the shrines. But
so that does it for all of our rares. I know there was an uncommon you wanted to talk about, Dan.
A common. It's just an amazing common. It's Tamio Safekeeping. It's just simply 1 green. It's an instant. Target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You gain 2 life. That's going to be a phenomenal common to pick up and put in decks.
That being an uncommon.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead because I have to find the shrines. So please.
Okay, the uncommon I was excited about because I just recently built a Torak deck and I've really been enjoying it. So cards that do what this card does make me really excited. It's Containment Construct. It's 2 for a 2/1 artifact creature construct. It says whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may play that card this turn. So this allows me to play all the stuff I would discard, but also lets me play lands if I discard one like through like a random discard effect, which there are some in the deck.
Yep.
There is did you pull up your 5 shrines here?
I did, yes. And I'm just going to rant about each of them. So everyone buckle up because this is a lot of me. First off, I love the shrines. The shrines are some of my favorite cards in all of Magic. I sound like a parrot saying it, but the artwork on these is all great. First off, I also love legendary creatures that can be in the command zone that are uncommon. All of these are legendary enchantment creatures, which is wicked. These are shrines. We have the initial shrines triggered on upkeep. The last set of shrines we got triggered in our main phase. And these are end step shrines. So without further ado, we have the Go Shinte shrines. So first is Go Shinte of Ancient Wars. 2 and a red for a 2/2 legendary enchantment creature shrine. It has first strike. At the beginning of your end step, you can pay 1. If you do, it deals X damage to target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. Let me tell you first and foremost, that was what was missing from a lot of the shrine decks, because with Sanctum of All Out, there's now 15 shrines, and Sanctum of All lets you double up your triggers. So with 15 shrines out for 1 mana, you're going to deal 30 damage to any player or planeswalker. That's insane. It's very, very good. The fact that they can be removed makes these a little weaker. Well, I guess the enchantments can be removed too, but the fact that these can be removed to like a board wipe or something like that, whatever, I'm just excited for that. So that's the first one. The fact that it hits players or planeswalkers is great. You can kill the table with this pretty easy. The next is Go Shinte of Boundless Vigor, 1 and a green. For a 1/1 with trample at the beginning of your end step, pay 1. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on target shrine for each shrine you control. Again, with all your shrines out, you're putting 30 counters on something with... It's crazy. Zach, you take the next one.
Next is Go Shinte of Hidden Cruelty. It's 3 and a black for legendary enchantment creature Shrine 2/2 as Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy target creature with toughness X or less for X the number of shrines you control.
Decent.
Yeah, very solid. It's a good kill spell.
Slothy.
The next one is Goshinte of Lost Wisdom, 0/4. 1 in a blue, it's got flying, and at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, target player mills X cards, where X is the number of shrines you control.
Mm-hmm. Then we have the last one of the new shrines in the set. It's Goshinte of Shared Purpose, 3 and a white for a legendary enchantment creature shrine with vigilance 1/3. At the beginning of your end step, you can pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless spirit for each shrine you control. First off, that's crazy. Again, with all of your creatures, I sound like a broken record, 30 of them. But we wanted to talk about the last 2 cards. So this card, first off, made me lose my mind. I made a 2 a.m. phone call to probably 15 people about this card. And it's not in the set. Set booster exclusive. And I'm going to crack boxes until I get it. It's Goshinte of Life's Origin. 3 and a green. That is the right color this time, I promise. For a legendary enchantment creature shrine. So you now have a shrine commander. Again, bringing you to 12 shrines you have. It's 5 color. It's a 5 color commander. It has Wooburg and tap. Return target enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sorry. That's just super good. Love every part of it. Enchantment reanimation is amazing. But when Goshinte of Life's Origin or another non-token shrine enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 colorless shrine enchantment token. So, if you have Goshinte out, for every shrine that you get out, you will be able to make... it will already on its own make a shrine. There's 15 and Goshinte. Or no, 16 and Goshinte. Sorry. So 17. So you can possibly have 34 shrines on the battlefield to trigger your abilities. Also, Sanctum of All will double up Goshinte's triggers. Yeah.
Question. Is Shrine now a creature type?
No. Shrine is not actually a creature type.
Okay.
I don't think so. Colorless Shrine enchantment creature. I don't know if it's creature type. Because if it was a creature type, like you said, here's Maskwood Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have 30. You get for each spirit you control, you have 30, and then, all right, I will trigger. I have 60 shrines.
Okay, yeah, it's saying it's not a creature type right now.
Okay, that's kind of good. The other thing is, I think that it'll be really easy to end up killing yourself in this deck if you have all your shrines out. And you can really easily, with the blue Honden, where you draw for each shrine you control, it's not optional. So you could, if you have like 30 shrines out, you could draw 30 cards every upkeep, and all of these decks run Paradox Haze. I'm not telling everyone how to build it, but like they all run Paradox Haze.
Yeah.
So you could very easily kill yourself with that. But regardless, Goshinte is the card I'm the most excited about for the set. It's not even really in the set. It is hands down the best shrine commander we've ever had. Obviously, it's designed for shrines entirely. Golos was a really good shrine commander. Sisei was a really good shrine commander, but nothing is quite as good as this one. And then the fact that we got another 5 shrines to further make shrine decks better. Awesome.
I love that they're creatures.
Yep.
That makes me so happy.
I've got a set of altered ones of the first 10. So I'm going to have to get someone to alter the last 5 so I can really keep flexing these shrines. But like, this is just a beautiful card top to bottom in its design. The fact that, like you said, that they put creature type on shrines, the new end step trigger shrines. I think all of it's like really, really fun. This caused an insane price spike in all the other shrines. Like, some of the shrines now are sitting at $10 to $15 because it's such a popular kind of thing to play. And everyone was like, oh, I'll use Sisei for it. And Sisei is just not the commander for it anymore. And I think that's kind of nice. You'll see Sisei get shuffled over to a more legendary creatures themed, I think, because I've really pretty much only seen her played as a shrine commander right now.
I've seen the legendary creature stuff.
Is it a fun list?
So my experience has been I like watching CDHTV. Mons will play his Sisei list, and it was all like legendary creatures stuff, and it was very, very cool. So all my experience has been in CDH games that I've watched, and I mean it's sweet. Like the list is very, very cool.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm very, very happy with this one. Like this is gonna be there's a few things that I'm for sure building. Hinata's pardon me, I got to drink more water again. Sorry. Hinata is obviously one. It's super fun, but like this is gonna be like the card that I'm picking up for a while. Like I love enchantments, and I just love the shrines. Like this is just such a cool card, top to bottom. I love every part of this card. There's not a thing in it I don't like.
Right.
The only thing I don't like is that I don't have it right now. I love the artwork where it's like the shrines and the ethereal arms like pulling up out of the ground. It's amazing. And then we've rambled for a while, but there is one other last card that does deserve mention, and it's simply because I'm a Futurama fan and I think it's funny. But it's the new partner. It's another set booster exclusive commander card. It's Yoshimaru Ever Faithful. This is an awesome card. It's 1 white for a legendary creature dog that's a 1/1. And whenever another legendary permanent enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Yoshimaru Ever Faithful. And it has partner, and I love the partner mechanic. And then the flavor text is day after day he sat there knowing the Wanderer would soon be back for her. This is just Fry's dog, and I love it.
Yes. So I talked about what legendary creatures I was hyped about. Dan, you talked about what legendary creatures you're hyped about. Slothy, was there any legendary creatures from this set that you're like, man, I want to build a commander deck around?
So there's a whole bunch of cards I'm going to be putting into decks.
Sure.
That are legendary creatures. But I think one that I want to try to make work is Greasefang.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Greasefang, and I kind of want to try Nashi as well. Kind of keeping with the whole rap theme.
Sure. Yeah. Greasefang seems sick. I think once again, some of the best art.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
there's yeah, I know we will wrap in a second. There's definitely more than like I'm gonna build some more things. Looking at the spoilers, I'm a little more excited for some other things, but Ghost Shinte and Hanada are like the top of that list. Mardu Wolfgar, like you said, is just silly. I've got to build that now.
That's mine. Back off. I call dibs.
I'm not even allowed to build that one because you know I'll wreck it.
You're gonna make it not fun for everyone else.
You gotta double Annihilator triggers. I don't make the rules.
No, you do not. The only good Eldrazi's are the ones without Annihilator.
I don't know about any of that.
Yeah, right, roll the music, Dan.
Yeah, there's like I said, this is a pretty good set. I wasn't as excited when everyone's like, Kamigawa, but it's got good stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't think I'll buy a box, but I will definitely be buying singles.
Zach, let them know where they can find the content.
So you can find all of our content on instant99.com. That's going to be your one-stop shop for all things Instant99. That's where you can find links to our Discord, where we have an active community where we're always talking about the new cards, deck builds, and you can even find games on there to play with other people. You can catch Lotus once a month, I believe, on Brewing It Live. She typically does it on Saturdays. You can also find us everywhere that you can listen to podcasts on. I said it early in the episode, but I'll say it again. Spotify has changed things, so please get on there if you use Spotify and give us a good review. It would mean a lot to us. That's, I think, everything. So have a good day, guys.
Oh, and also check out the articles on the website there. They're really well written.
Yes.
So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day.